Welcome to another mailbag session. Remember, these are questions and comments you guys leave on the channel. But before we get going on this session, remember, normal parish notices apply. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, why not? Hit the subscribe icon. If you want to be notified when new content hits the channel, it's the bell icon's the one you need. If you like the contents of this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider becoming a member of the TMTG community. It's always a big mouthful. The address is down the bottom, as are the Facebook and Instagram tags. Go tag me over there. But now back to the video. Next one comes from Sean Curran. And it's in response to the sort of bits you ran EPS 16 plus new tools and supplies and R5 and R8 video I did in beginning of August 2020. Sean writes, I upgraded my D-20 to an EPS 16 plus keyboard when I was at high school. I lugged it to school in a metal flight case every day for jazz and theatre bands. Sold it in college for my first electronic drum kit. I missed that keyboard as I really loved the feel of the keys compared to the Korg and Roland from the same era. I'm not with you on the keys, I have to be honest. Yeah, I need to give my EPS 16 Plus some serious attention. Somewhere between the move and it arriving here, and it is on the workbench in the workshop, I just need to start diagnosing what's wrong with it. And we had a heat wave across sort of July and August in this country. And every time I went in there to think about doing some work, I found that I was just sweating buckets, and I just decided it wasn't worth the aggro. So I sort of kind of put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off. But I do need to get to it, and now that the sort of temperature starts to drop a bit, you know, it's possibly that I can get some videoing done, and I can get some diagnostic work done on that particular keyboard. I am suspecting it's going to need a new disk drive. I mean, that's definitely seems to be one of my pet fears. The other thing I think about it is also, I mean, it hasn't been particularly well looked after, this EPS 16, but then on the flip side, it didn't cost me anything. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers. And I kind of think, well, what I'll do is I'll put it back together, I'll make it work, and then maybe look for a better version of it and eventually sell this on or give it away to somebody who's deserving. The other thing I would agree is that the synths of this era weren't the lightest things in the world to carry. Nowadays we tend to make synths with external power supplies, and those external power supplies are quite small because of the sort of the whole switching technology we now use in these power supplies, as opposed to the technology we used back then, which was a whopping great big lump of iron. And very chunky components, and I suspect that's the reason why a lot of these synths weigh a ton, is because you've got a load of iron in there as part of the power board that rectifies the power down from whatever it is AC to 5 and 12 volts to run the keyboard. Next one comes from Migraine Gain. In response to the SY85, what this beauty can do demonstration sequences video I did in August 2020. And Migraine writes, there were a couple of demo discs depending on the region, plus some optional ones you could get from dealers. I've got this one, I think was an optional one, plus another that's some Yamaha Japan sounding songs, plus a hip hop swing demo pack, and a truly terrible country and western pack. I don't have a working floppy drive for my PC, but once I get one sorted, I'll link you up with the other packs if you don't have them somewhere. It is truly immensely versatile keyboard once you have said something to edit and transfer samples to. I used to use an SU10, which I think was a Yamaha device, as it can send samples to the SY85 over SysX. Madworld was the sample disc or the demo disc that was shipped with mine. So many people have been in contact with me about how much they loved the SY85, which I'm glad about, because I do love my SY85. I'm glad it turned up. But what I found out about this is that there is actually, I've got a list here, and I don't think, oh yeah, hang on a minute, there it is. I think it's these. Is it those? Nope. Nope. I do actually have a list of all the Yamaha factory discs that were created to support the SY85. But do you think I can find reference to them anywhere on the internet at the moment? No. They obviously exist somewhere, but I can't find them. But I have found the demos for the European, US and Japanese markets, and I found a number of other discs that I just need to sort of kind of copy down onto the SY85 so that I can actually play and listen to them. But there seems to have been a lot of discs produced for this thing that over the years have just gone to ground. So they exist somewhere. So if you've got SY85 discs in your closet and you no longer have an SY85 and you feel that you'd like to impart them to the library for onward storage, please feel free to get in contact with me. As I said at the beginning of the mailbag session, my Facebook and Instagram tags were there. Feel free to tap me up. The next one comes from Jensen Wilder in response to the Korg OASYS. What does it sound like? Coffee break. Well, I did a sequence, a series of videos for this thing, showing off the demo, showing off the sequences, and I did it as one full video, and then I broke it down into smaller videos. And he writes, "There's a used OASYS listed in my country for about 1,000 GDP. I would have considered buying it if I didn't have a Kronos 273 sitting in my studio." And the reason why I've raised this as a topic is £1,000 is actually good value for one of these things. Okay, and I also own a Kronos and an OASYS, and some people said, "Is that overkill?" I don't think it is, but then I enjoy playing them. But what I found is I use both, and I like the screen on this one, the fact it goes backwards and forwards. I like that, so it can accommodate me standing up or it can accommodate me sitting down. I do like that feature, although you do need to be very careful of the hinges. And that's kind of a saint and a sinner, because obviously the hinges are the weak point. But I have to be honest and say I don't think that's a bad price, and to be honest, I don't think it would be wrong of you to own either or both.